Hala, late na ako.
Familiar? Well, that is just one typical struggle of a college student who's just trying their best. Lalo na kung third year ka. Sa gitna ng mga nagpapatong-patong na deadlines, it may seem hard for most of us na mag-stick sa ating daily routine and even get our daily needs such as food. Paano mo nga naman lulunukin ang kanin kasabay ng sama ng loob? And just like sleep, maraming estudyante ang hirap na isingit ang pagkain, lalo na sa tamang oras. But what actually happens to our bodies if we don't eat on time? Let's find out as we go through a day in the life of a college student. So, na-late ka nga sa first class mo, di ba? And the best thing that you would do is to skip the first and most important meal of the day, breakfast.
Wow!
Papasok kang walang laman ng tiyan, hoping you would ace your exams first thing in the morning. At dahil isa kang tao at hindi ka isang sangre, your body's normal biological response is to become hungry. According to the set point theory, we feel hunger when our energy level drops, or what we call energy deficit. This motivates us to eat until we feel satiated and our body's energy resources return to normal. This theory explains that we have to eat because we need energy to carry out the functions of our brain and body, which means in that case, an empty stomach will more likely reduce our memory, attention, and performance in class, plus an irritable mood due to low blood glucose when meals are skipped.
Okay, nairaos mo ang quiz at nabuhay ka after second class. Congratulations! Tapos, biglang dumaan yung kaklase mong may dalang proben at napahingi ka ng isa. Ang sarap nga naman ng isang malutong na proben. Kaya nagutom ka ulit at naalala mong hindi ka pa pala kumakain kaya run ka agad sa ambulant vendors.
But this is not merely because of energy deficit. When we start to feel hungry before eating, the cephalic phase begins. The first part sa stages of consumption. The sight, smell, and even the anticipation of food activate our nervous system, which sends signals to the brain and tells our body to start preparing for the consumption of food.
And when you finally got your own proben inspired by your classmate, the second stage comes in, called the absorptive phase.
This is when the body absorbs nutrients from food as glucose enters the bloodstream and insulin helps cells take it in for energy, while excess nutrients are stored as glycogen and fat. You need this so that your body will have energy when needed.
Nice.
Pero how much do we eat to get enough energy, especially kung hindi ka nag-breakfast? Apart from the capacity and size of the stomach, the brain and hormones play a far greater role.
Wow!
These different interacting mechanisms are the physiological processes that produce the feeling of fullness or satiety. But these signals alone don't fully explain why or when we stop eating. What makes us full and how much we eat are also affected by many factors, such as hormonal signals, brain processing, learned habits, and psychological factors like taste, expectation, and social context. Lalo na kung marami ang serving ng binili mong food.
If you're a college student na nagberyenda na sa umaga, you would probably skip lunch kasi ang gastos mo.
Because your energy levels have become normal, which means another delay of your eating schedule until you get hungry again. If we don't eat for a period of time, the body enters the fasting phase, aka the last stage of consumption.
Wow.
Since there is no new energy, the body uses stored energy or fats to keep functioning.
Nice.
Stored glycogen from the absorptive phase is converted back into glucose. And if you delay eating much longer, such as skipping even an afternoon snack, glycogen depletes and fats from the adipose are converted into fatty acids for energy. Over sa gutom naman ng babae na yan! To counter extended periods of the fasting phase, we tend to overeat. Overeating causes the blood sugar and insulin to rise because glucose from food forces the pancreas to release more insulin, which leads to higher fat storage. As eating more continues, fat gets accumulated. Kaya tayo nagkakabilbil.
Oh, okay.
And when you have options, may tendency talagang mapaparami ang kain mo. This is what we call cafeteria diet effect. When many different foods are available, people tend to eat more because the variety and pleasant taste of food increase its appeal or reward, called the positive incentive value. Unlike the set point theory, the positive incentive theory states that we eat because it is pleasurable and rewarding, which means that our primary motivation to eat is not energy deficits, but the anticipatory enjoyment of food. Also, this triggers dopamine release or the pleasure hormone, so we tend to overeat after long periods of the fasting phase or even when not hungry.
Wow.
Kaya naman, even after eating just enough food for dinner, a cup of ice cream, a bowl of chips, and a bottle of soda, or even another whole meal will psychologically have more space in our tummies, and we still get the drive to eat even until midnight. Girl, that is binge eating, by the way. Daytime overeating increases insulin levels due to consistent glucose influx, which in turn produces higher melatonin levels and makes us sleepy during the day. But in nocturnal overeating, the body's ability to metabolize glucose is reduced due to lower insulin sensitivity caused by high melatonin levels. These make evening meals harder to process, elevate blood sugar, and disrupt sleep. In simple terms, skipping earlier meals such as an afternoon snack or lunch increases eating amount and behavior, which affects the normal pattern of physiological functioning. That is typically how a college student eats in a day of their life. Pero kung kaya naman pala natin kumain just during our free time, then is eating at the right time necessary?
Huh?
On the surface, normative eating times like breakfast, lunch, and dinner are cultural constructs. But their essence is that meal timing and intervals shape metabolic responses, hormone rhythms, digestion efficiency, and long-term health. Eating in the morning marks the start of a person's metabolic processes. That is, the food that we eat in the morning is the major refuel after a nightly fast during the sleep, which makes us to burn more calories for the day where we consume more energy. Meal timing will tell us to eat more in the morning than night. That's why it is the most important meal of the day to have healthier habits. Chrononutrition is one of the common frameworks that use the physiological states to improve metabolic outcomes and align eating with internal clocks. That's why, kailangan ng mag-breakfast ng isang college student. Gaya ko! Hala, anong oras na? Di pa pala ako makain! Ah!